All residents of Yellowknife have been ordered to leave as wildfires quickly approach that city. CB24's Jamie Gutfreund joins us live now with more on the fast-burning fires and evacuation efforts. Jamie.
Yeah, and those fires are just located roughly 17 kilometers outside of the capital. Roughly 20,000 residents are under that evacuation order, and we want to find out the latest situation there in Yellowknife. We want to bring in Rebecca Alty, the mayor of Yellowknife. Thank you so much for joining us during this very difficult time. First off, we understand that the evacuation order was in effect for today, that people were supposed to leave by noon. From your perspective, are people heeding the advice of officials? What's the latest situation from where you are?
Yeah, so we issued the evacuation order last night. Folks are encouraged to leave by tomorrow at noon. A lot of folks, there was kilometers worth of vehicles heading out of town yesterday and again today. This footage here is the folks who are waiting for flights. So if people don't have access to cars, have medical conditions, seniors, flights are available. They're free. Residents can go and register for a flight. The first flight was scheduled to take off at 1 p.m. today, and they'll be continuing until no further flights are required. So it's not a case of, by Friday at noon, if you don't make it, we will be continuing to offer evacuation support for folks. But we are encouraging people to take the highway. Please drive about if you can.
We understand the Prime Minister was expected to hold emergency meetings today with ministers, senior officials to discuss the crisis and the situation that's unfolding. Have you been in touch with the federal government, and are you satisfied with the efforts and the response from the feds to assist in this horrible situation?
Yeah, the federal government has been in touch, and I've got a call with the Prime Minister here shortly. It is a big evacuation, and it requires a lot of support from the city, the territorial government, and the federal government. We only have one highway going in and out of the community, and that highway is where the fire is right now. So, the highway's clear of the fire and smoky conditions, but the highway is safe and open right now. The other challenge is that there's no cell service after about 10 minutes, and the next gas station is 3 hours away. And the evacuation centers that folks are going to is about a 16 to 18-hour drive from Yellowknife. So it's an intense and difficult evacuation, and really appreciate everything that residents are doing, and the communities from Yellowknife all the way to the evacuation centers. From what I'm hearing, businesses, residents are really opening the doors and accepting and welcoming evacuees. So really appreciate it.
In regards to the firefighting efforts, we understand that over 120 members of the Canadian Armed Forces are on standby to assist with firefighting logistics, putting out hotspots, also with the evacuations, but also Northwest Territories wildfire. They're also trying to do their best to tackle the fire. What can you tell us about the efforts to try and get a hold of these flames and prevent them from destroying structures and making their way into the heart of the city?
A lot of work is underway. Like you said, federal, territorial, city, as well as private contractors. So here in Yellowknife, we declared a local state of emergency on Monday night so that we could acquire all contractors to come and help us in this fight. And what it was heavy equipment operators. We've been working over the past number of weeks, but this week with extra focus. Previous weeks we were working with about 4 companies. Now we're up to 12 companies working on what we call fire breaks. And so we're basically clear cutting trees, creating a 100-meter buffer between the fire and the city. At the territorial level, they're fighting the fire from the air. So with the water bombers, they're also working on putting a fire retardant line on. So if possible, if weather permitting, there will be a controlled burn. So each of these lines of defense is working to slow the fire down, to remove any, what we quote unquote say, fuel sources, trees and stuff that could burn. The more we can remove, the less that the fire can advance. So of course, we always hope for rain. The other thing that would help would just be a change in direction of wind. If the wind changes, it pushes the fire back to where it was burning. And again, you're removing that fuel source.
And right now, the long-term forecast is not really calling for any significant rain. Mayor Alty, you know, what we're living through right now is really unprecedented times with the amount of wildfires that are raging right across the country. There are about 1,000 active fires, and we're seeing these pictures coming out of Yellowknife. I'm very curious, how are people coping with this situation? I can imagine how difficult and challenging this must be for the residents of Yellowknife.
It's very stressful, and it has been for about the past month. July 24th is when this fire first started, and it required the evacuation of the community of Bechico, which is about an hour away from Yellowknife. So they actually came to Yellowknife, and we were the reception center. Since then, the fire was holding for a number of weeks. Unfortunately, we got some bad wind on Sunday, and that's what's pushed the fire towards us. But it's been a really tough summer. This smoke it's so thick that you can't go outside. And, you know, after a whole winter of -40, the thing that we want to do is go out and enjoy that sunshine. We got 24-hour daylight. Being stuck inside is really tough in the summer. So it was stressful. I know it was a lot of really intense feelings yesterday. It's hard to leave your home, and that's why we're working so hard on these defensive measures to protect the community and everything people love here.
Yellowknife Mayor Rebecca Alty, we appreciate your time. We know this is a very difficult situation for you and your residents, but we appreciate you joining us on CB24. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Lena, we'll send it back to you for now.
All right, Jamie, thanks so much for that conversation. What a horrible situation in Yellowknife.